How's everybody doing this evening? Back again with another video for you guys and gals. And tonight, what I have for everyone is my full review of the ENACFIRE E60 Bluetooth earbuds. Now, I've been using these bad boys for a good amount of time, and I feel like I've gathered all my thoughts and opinions on them, and that's what I'm going to share with y'all in this full review this evening. And hopefully by the end of it, you guys and gals will know whether or not this is worth picking up, okay? So that being said, without further ado, let's jump into this full review. Now, starting off, the first thing I want to talk about with you guys and gals is the overall build quality and design of the earbuds themselves, alright? So let's pop them out the case here. Now, in terms of the overall build quality of the earbuds, these are built primarily out of texturized and glossy plastic material, as you can see. But all in all, I have to say the build quality is good. Now, why do I say it's good, not great, not top notch? That's because I did run into an issue with these earbuds, alright? After about 3 days of initial usage, one of the earbuds was playing at a lower volume than the other. The audio was kind of uneven, and regardless of what I did to try and fix it, it just wasn't fixing it. So thankfully I reached out to customer support, and the customer support from ENACFIRE was very nice, I must say, and they got everything sorted. I shipped back the defective or broken unit, and they shipped me out a replacement unit, and I have to say the replacement unit is working perfectly. But the overall build quality takes a hit because my initial unit, it was slightly defective. Like, I didn't do anything to it. I didn't drop it. I didn't submerge it in any types of water. I was just using it how I normally would. I didn't even get a chance to be clumsy with it. And so, to me, that, in my opinion, that leads me to knockoff points in the overall build quality. But that's just a testament to how good the overall customer service is. So that's why the build quality, in my opinion, is just good, not great, not top notch because of that. Now, in terms of the overall design, I have to say this design, when we talk about Bluetooth earbuds, is really good in my opinion. This slots perfectly into the ears. It's extremely comfortable and extremely lightweight, especially when you're using it for extended listening sessions. So the overall design on these is pretty good. Now, why pretty good and not top notch? Because I'm not a fan of the overall glossy material that ENACFIRE decided to use. ENACFIRE? Yeah, decided to use. It would have been much better, in my opinion, in terms of the overall design if they went with a grippy, more texturized material, okay? Because this glossy material does make it extremely slippery. That is why the overall design, in my opinion, is just pretty good. Not great, not top notch, okay? So all in all, putting both of those two categories into perspective, I have to say the overall build quality and design is pretty good. Alright? Now, moving on, let's now dive into the core features of these earbuds. And this is where I have to say ENACFIRE did a great job. And I know I'm probably going to butcher that name a lot throughout the rest of this review. Now, core feature number one, and one of my absolute favorites, this bad boy is packing in Bluetooth 5.0 technology on board. Alright, so that means that you can truly live that hashtag wireless lifestyle. You don't have to fight with any cables whatsoever. Okay, so really good stuff there. Core feature number two, this bad boy is also packing in the IPX8 sweat and water resistance rating. So that is one of the higher sweat and water resistance ratings. So that means that this should stand up to light splashes and any type of workout where you're getting extremely sweaty, or if you are jogging on the road and you get caught in a storm, these should work no problem. So I'm really happy to see that type of water resistance on these. So good stuff there. Core feature number three, these bad boys have built-in mics on board, and I did showcase the built-in mics in other videos, but let me show you again. The microphone is right there, as you can see, And I gotta tell y'all, spoiler alert, we're gonna dive into it a little bit later on in the video, but the microphone performance on these is top notch. But we're gonna dive into that more a little bit later on. So really good microphone performance on these. Okay, core feature number 4, you can use these bad boys in independent mode or stereo mode. So and in my opinion, we're going to talk about this later, but I would actually recommend independent mode because you're going to get a lot better battery life. But the fact that you can use it independently or in stereo, that's another great feature in my opinion. So really good stuff there as well. All right. And all in all, I believe that pretty much does it when we talk about the overall core features on this bad boy. So good stuff in my opinion. And in my opinion, ENACFIRE did a great job in this category. This is a really solid core feature set in my opinion. Now, moving on, let's now talk about the overall sound quality, the volume, and the bass. And let me tell y'all, I've been reviewing Bluetooth accessories for quite some time now, and I gotta tell y'all, this is probably my first set of Bluetooth earbuds that got a pretty much perfect in this next category. So in terms of the overall sound quality, it was really good. It was very crisp and clear throughout. Whether I had it at higher volumes or lower volumes, it had minimal distortion on either the high or the low end. Really good overall sound quality in my opinion, and the same aspects carry over to the volume. It works really well at lower volumes. It doesn't muffle out, it doesn't distort, it still stays very crisp and clear, and it gets really loud at higher volumes with minimal distortion. Really good in my opinion. Really good sound quality and really good overall volume. Top notch, okay? Top notch indeed. And then we come to the bass. Woo! The bass on these earbuds are so good. Now, I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if I have ear damage from listening to a lot of Bluetooth accessories, but the bass on these are top notch. They have just the right amount of punch, just the right amount of depth to where you can really feel the music. And man, if y'all didn't check out my Fit and Sound demo so you could see my actual reaction, the bass on these kind of blew me away. Okay, so in terms of the overall sound quality, the volume, and the bass, these earbuds right here are getting top notch in my opinion. Okay, so good stuff in this category as well. ENACFIRE, y'all did a great job here. Alright, moving on now, let's now talk about the overall microphone quality, i.e. the overall microphone performance. And as I alluded to earlier, the microphone performance on these earbuds are top notch yet again. Whether I was interacting with my devices using voice commands, or I was dictating text or emails, worked without issues. On phone calls, callers said I was very loud, crisp, and clear with no distortion, and they could hear me no problem, and I had no issues hearing them. And this was the same for voice calls as it was for video calls. So that is actually the highest esteem that I can give to microphones on earbuds. When callers say they can hear me no problem, or they can hear me as if I'm standing right next to them, or I sound very crisp and clear like I'm not using Bluetooth accessories, that to me means the microphones on these are top notch. Okay? So really good overall microphones on these earbuds right here as well. Okay? Good stuff in my opinion. Now, moving on, the next thing I want to talk about is the overall pairing steps on these earbuds. All right. Now, you can use these in independent mode, as I said, or stereo mode, as I said. Now, the way you want to do this, okay, well, first let me back up. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. These steps that we're getting ready to cover are compatible across the board. All you need is a Bluetooth capable device, and the steps I'm going to cover will work. Just keep in mind that will look a little bit different depending on your OS and or platform. So these steps, although they are the same, it will look very different on Android than it will look on iOS, then it will look on Windows or Linux, so on and so forth. Even if you want to pair these up to your car, if your car has Bluetooth, the steps are going to work, but it's going to look drastically different than what I'm going to demo it on. But you follow along with these steps, it should work no problem. Now today in this video, we are using an Android device. Shout out to the Pixel 2 XL. We got it on deck. That's what we're going to be using to cover these steps. Alright, now, the first thing you want to do is you want to drop the earbuds back into the case here. Okay? That's what we need to do. That's the first thing you want to do. Alright? So we're going to drop the left in the left, and we're going to drop the right in the right. And they should power on, and they should start charging. You see this white LED, that means they're charging. When the white LED goes off, that means they're fully charged. Now, the next thing you want to do is close the case. Rest it down for about a second. While we're letting that sit for a minute, you want to pick up your device, and you want to turn on and navigate to the Bluetooth settings. So let's do that here. Let's turn on the display. Boom. We're going to swipe down on the notification shade twice, and then this is where you would tap on your Bluetooth icon to turn it on. You're going to wait another second. Okay, wait till it's fully lit as you see here, and then you're going to press and hold to take you into the Bluetooth settings. Alright, now on your newer Android devices, as you see here, you just want to tap on pair a new device. On your older Android devices, once you come into the Bluetooth settings, once you turn on the Bluetooth settings, you may see a checkbox here that says make your device visible. Once you click that, it's going to automatically start scanning for nearby Bluetooth devices. But since we're on a newer Android device, we got to click on pair a new device. So we're going to tap on that. And now your device is ready to go. You can see it's looking for nearby Bluetooth accessories. Alright, so you're going to put your phone down for a minute. Okay. Go back to the earbuds, and you're going to open the case. Now at this point, you need to decide whether you want to use both of the earbuds together or you want to use it one earbud at a time. Now, if you're using it one earbud at a time, you will have to pair up the earbuds separately. Once you pair them up separately, it will reconnect every other time you turn on the Bluetooth. But if you're using it independently, you do have to pair them up separately. Now, if you're using them together, you only have to pair it up one time. Now, when you use it together, the left side becomes the master, and the right side becomes the slave, alright? So the only one we need to worry about if we're using them in stereo mode is the left side. So we're going to use it in stereo mode for this video, so we're going to take out the left, boom, and then we're going to take out the right, boom. Now you see it's going to flash for a second, the right one is going to go off because it paired to the left, and now the left is going to flash white and blue, indicating that it's in pairing mode. Okay, the earbuds are ready to go. Now back on your device, you're going to see in the Bluetooth settings here, you're going to see ENACFIRE E60 pop up. You want to tap on this model number to begin the pairing process. And then you want to tap to confirm the pairing. Alright, and then these bad boys are paired up to your device and you should be ready to go. Now, one thing that I recommend, if you're going to use these in independent mode, you want to take the time to pair them up separately, and you want to take the time to label them. Now, if you want to label your Bluetooth device, all you have to do from the Bluetooth settings here is tap on the gear icon, and then you want to tap on the pencil, and then you can label the name to any name that you would like. So for me, when I was using this in the review process, I paired them up one at a time, and then I labeled the one that I had paired. So in this instance, I'm going to call this the left, because the left side becomes the master when we're pairing them in stereo mode. But if I just want to use the right, or say for instance the left dies, the right will still have more juice. That's something a little strange that I found with these that we're going to talk about more in the battery life section. But then you want to repair the right and make sure you label it so you don't get confused. Also, another way to tell which earbud you have connected, let's get out of this real quick, is the left earbud comes up with this little orange headphone indicator, and the right earbud will come up with like a more yellowish earbud indicator. So that's another indication that you could tell which earbud that you're using. All right, just wanted to point that out. But that pretty much goes over the pairing steps. And then another thing I want to point out is that once you pair up the device or the earbuds, in your notification shade you can see the device you have connected and its battery percentage. Really, really nice. Now if you're on an iOS device, you're going to be able to see the device you have connected and its battery percentage in the leftmost home screen. This is where iOS keeps their widgets, so on and so forth. But you can see on Android, the leftmost home screen is the Google Now feed. Alright, so that goes over the pairing steps. Now we're going to get into going over the button controls. And y'all bear with me because this is one of the areas that I really don't like about these earbuds, and that is the touch controls. This would have been my all-time favorite pair of earbuds if they would have incorporated physical buttons or some type of better implementation of the touch controls. But that by far is the weakest part of these earbuds, the overall touch controls. And y'all are gonna see what I mean, because y'all might see me struggle a little bit now that we're about to go over the earbud button controls. Alright? But the first thing I want to start off with is music. So let's go over to YouTube Music here. And I already had my on-device music preloaded, so this is copyright-free music. And for the music controls, you do have to have music actively playing. So we're going to start the music here. Okay, so music is playing. I'm going to leave this on the screen so y'all can see what happens as we go through it. Now, for play and pause, that's a simple tap on the touch-sensitive area for either earbud. So you can see we picked up the right here. Let me keep everything in the frame. And if I tap on the right earbud one time, it's going to pause the music. If I tap on it again, it's going to play the music. Just like that, y'all can see that on the screen. And that's the same thing for the left as well. So if I pick up the left earbud here, and we tap on it, okay, boom, it's going to pause the music, boom, it's going to play the music, as you can see right there. Now, if you want to go to the next track, that's simply just a double tap on the right earbud. Okay, so let's try and demo this without messing up here. So picking it up, and we're going to double tap, 1, 2, and we go to the next track, as you see right there. Let's try and demo it again, 1, 2, and we go to the next track. Alright, now if we want to go to the previous track, and this is probably one of the harder parts, you want to double tap on the left earbud 2 times. Now you do it the first time, it's going to restart the track. You do it again, it's going to take you to the previous track. So let's demo it here, 1, 2, restart, 1, 2, previous track. You saw that right there. Let me do it again. Let it play a little bit. 1, 2, restart, 1, 2, previous track right there. Okay, good stuff. Now it may look easy on camera, but this is a struggle for me, and this is one of the probably the worst parts of these earbuds is these touch controls. It's just that I'm doing my absolute hardest to make it look easy on camera for y'all, but it is harder than it looks, trust me. Alright, now the next thing is we do have as well, we do have volume controls. Alright, now for your volume controls, it's very, very simple. If you want to volume up, you just simply have to press and hold the right earbud for 2 seconds. Alright, that's going to volume up. If you want to volume down, you just want to press and hold the left earbud for 2 seconds. That's going to volume down. So let's attempt to demo this here. So right earbud, 2 seconds. Okay, and you can see the visual representation on the screen. Going up. Okay, and you do get a boom boom once you hit the max volume. I don't know how well my microphone is going to pick it up. Okay, so you can see Press and hold for 2 seconds, gonna bring the volume up. Good stuff. Now, same thing on the other earbud. So press and hold for 2 seconds on the left earbud. Gonna bring the volume down. Let's do this. And you can see the volume going down. Okay, good stuff. Now, and this by far is probably one of the hardest things to do, and that is activating your Google Assistant, because this is one of the things that I hate about touch controls. Now, to activate your Google Assistant, it's just a simple triple tap on either earbud to activate it, and this works whether music is playing or not. Let's try and demo this here, and hopefully we don't mess up. So we're going to use the right, and you want to triple tap. 1, 2, 3. Okay, as you can see, I missed it. 1, 2, 3. Okay, missed it again. See that? This is what I'm talking about. 1, 2, 3. What's the weather like in Palm Bay today? Okay. And I actually said that kind of fast, so you can see it kind of messed up. But the voice controls do work. Let's try that one more time, because y'all know I hate to give up. No surrender, no defeat, you know. Let's try this again. 1, 2, 3. Missed it. 1, 2, 3. Missed it. See, this is the problem. 1, 2, 3. What's the weather like in Palm Bay today? Got it that time. And you got your nice little audible feedback there. So y'all can see, this is one of the reasons why I don't like touch controls. I would prefer physical buttons, because y'all saw just how difficult that was to me. Alright? But, you know, I am disabled at the end of the day, and I do have some issues with this. What is it? My dexterity is not the best, and my balance is not the best either. So these kind of things, they're a little bit more troublesome for me than usual. So y'all may get used to that. Y'all may not have any problems with that. But for me, I don't like touch controls. Or at least this implementation could have been implemented a lot better. Alright? But that essentially goes over the earbud button controls. Alright? Now, we still do have the phone call controls, but it's pretty straightforward, and I'll throw those up on the screen in post, so y'all follow along with what you see on the screen. Y'all saw my demonstration of the earbud controls. It's pretty much something similar for phone call controls. You have answer and end, you have redial, and you have reject. And once you get used to how it's done, it's pretty easy. It's pretty straightforward. Still pretty difficult for me. So 9 times out of 10, I end up just whipping out my phone and answering it or ending the phone call. But it is what it is, and I guess you will get used to it. Alright, so that pretty much goes over the pairing steps, and that goes over the earbud controls. Alright, now let's keep it moving. Alright, so the next thing I want to talk about with you guys and gals now, we could turn off the phone. We don't need the phone in the frame anymore. Alright, we don't need to worry about that. And put it over here so it's not distracting. You can also close the case. Alright, now, moving on. The next thing I want to talk about with you guys and gals now is the overall Bluetooth range and the overall Bluetooth strength. Alright, now in terms of the overall Bluetooth, again, as I stated earlier, this bad boy has Bluetooth 5.0 on board, and it's pretty much your standard Bluetooth on here. So Bluetooth 5.0 has a standard range of 10 meters or 33 feet. And for the most part, when we talk about the overall Bluetooth range or the Bluetooth strength, as long as I was within that designated range, I didn't have any issues with the overall strength or the overall Bluetooth connectivity or reception. But what I did notice is that the minute I got outside of that, the strength pretty much plummeted. Okay? So as long as you stay within that designated range, you shouldn't have any issues. So the overall Bluetooth range and strength is pretty good in my opinion. Could it have been better? Yes, I'm kind of spoiled by some of the other Bluetooth earbuds you have seen in the video, where they have much better range and they have much better strength. But for what it is, it's exactly as advertised, so it's pretty good. Alright? So, moving on. Now let's talk about the overall durability. Now, this is kind of a sore spot for me, because one, as I said earlier, these earbuds broke without me doing anything, or they was at least defective out of the box. So if that's how bad the build quality is from the jump, could you imagine when I start dropping these by accident? It's just gonna get worse. So I'm actually not planning on keeping these as good as they are. But you do want to be extra careful in terms of the overall durability. Now, I will bring y'all update videos for as long as I have them, or I'll update you guys down below in the comments if anything happens. But, you know, in terms of the durability, I can't really speak on it, okay? Because I didn't get a chance to be clumsy with these. Knock on wood, they actually survived without any issues, even though they broke of their own accord. But I think, based on the build materials, the durability on these should be pretty good. You know, plastic materials are pretty drop resistant and pretty scratch resistant, so it should have okay durability, but, you know, just be careful, please. Alright? That's all I can say on that. Alright? Now, moving on, let's dive into the overall charge times and the overall battery life. Now, first things first, we got to run through some manufacturer's estimates here, okay? Then we're going to run through my particular results in regards to the overall charge times and the overall battery life. Now, let's start with the battery life first, and we're going to do the charge times last. Now, the manufacturer advertised these bad boys as having 8 hours of battery life, and then you're able to get an additional 40 to 48 hours, including the case. Alright? And what that breaks down to is that these bad boys should give you anywhere from 6 to 8 hours on the charge, and then you should be able to get 5 additional charges. So if you do the math from the manufacturer's estimates here, okay, you're looking at 8 hours times 5 charges. So including the case, you're looking at about 40 hours on the charge. Alright? Now, that's stereo mode usage. Now, independent mode usage, you just take that number and you double it up. So using the manufacturer's estimates, 8 and 8 is 16. Then you multiply 16 by the 5 additional charges, and including the case, in independent mode, you're looking at about 80 hours on the charge. Alright? Stereo mode is using them both together. Independent mode is using them one at a time. So that's the manufacturer's estimates, and that's the breakdown. Now, talking about my actual usage, which is heavy mixed usage. Alright? So your guys and gals results may vary, but what I can recommend is all you have to do is find a comfortable median between volume and overall battery life. Now, my particular testing, I tested these at 35% volume, I tested these at 50% volume, and I tested these at 75% volume. Now, I would actually recommend, if you're going to use these for exercising, you want to use them at about 35% volume. If you're going to use these for just casual listening, you want to use it anywhere between 35% and 50% volume. To me, 50% volume gets you that very sweet balance between battery life and volume. So I would actually recommend 50% volume in my opinion. Alright? Just a quick recommendation. Now, talking about my overall usage. Now, with my style of usage, I was averaging anywhere from 6 to 10 hours on a charge. Okay? And then I wasn't getting 5 additional charges. I was getting 4 additional charges. So I don't know what that is, but I was actually getting 4 additional charges. Now, if we do the math, on the low end, in stereo mode, that's it is what it is, 6 to 10 hours. But if we include the 4 additional charges from the case, that 6 becomes 24 and that 10 becomes 40. Alright? So including the case in stereo mode, we're looking at an average of 24 to 40 hours with the case. Now in independent mode, you would just double that. So 6 turns into 12 and 10 turns into 20, and then you multiply it by the 4. So 12 multiplied by 4 additional charges gives you 48 hours. And the battery life on these earbuds is top notch in my opinion, whether you're using it in stereo mode or independent mode, because we hit that all elusive 10 hours of usage time on a charge. Finally a pair of earbuds that hit what I want to see. So good stuff, okay? But anyways, let me get back to it. So doubling it, 6 turns to 12, okay? And then 12 multiplied by 4 is 48 hours, including the case on the low end. On the high end, that turns into 20. 20 multiplied by 4 turns into 80 hours. So y'all can see in independent mode, we're averaging between 48 to 80 hours, including the case. So really good stuff, and that's right on par with the manufacturer's estimates, even exceeding it in some cases. So in my opinion, this is what I call top-notch battery life, okay? And the same rules will apply to the charge times, which we're getting ready to talk about in a second here. Alright? Okay, so we went over the battery life. Now let's get into these charge times. Now, the manufacturer estimated that when you're charging the buds in the case, they're going to charge up in about an hour and a half. And I got to say, that mark was right on the money. Now, when the battery is low on these, you'll get 4 to 5 low battery please charge notifications, along with a flashing white LED. That means the battery is low and it needs to charge. And if you catch it at any point during those notifications, it will charge up in just under an hour and a half. I was averaging an hour and 25 minutes to an hour and 28 minutes. Now, if you let it drain completely dead, it's going to charge up in an hour and a half. So right on par with the manufacturer's estimates, and that's really good charge times in my opinion. Alright? Now, where they fell a little bit short is the wireless charging and the wired charging. Now, wired charging wise, via the USB Type-C port, I'm very happy to see they got USB Type-C on deck. Thank you. One cable to rule them all. Okay? USB Type-C, all the things. Alright? But, now, in terms of wired charging, they said it would take anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours to reach a full charge. Now, that's accurate as long as you catch it with 1 to 2 LEDs left. Now, the only time you get to see the LEDs, and I'm not happy with this, is when you're actually putting your earbuds in the case. So, let me show you. Let me see if I can catch it on camera. Drop in the right. And you're going to see the LEDs light up. Now, once you drop it in, it's going to light up, it's going to turn off. So that's the only time you'll be able to see how much charge is on the case. Now, for me, for some strange reason, when it got down to 2 LEDs left, I'm thinking, okay, I got an additional charge on both. Nope. By the time it charged up, it was dead. So that's why I ended up getting 4 charges instead of 5. So it is what it is there. Okay? But for me, charging up the case, when I caught it at that low 2 LEDs left and charged it up, it charged up in an hour and a half. Now, when I let the case drain to completely dead, it was charging up in a little bit over 2 hours. I was getting about 2 hours, 2 hours and 10 minutes. Okay? So that is where the manufacturer's estimate was a little short. It took me a little bit over 2 hours. And just for reference, any and all of the chargers that I use in my home or around my house are fast chargers, whether it be direct power delivery or turbochargers of some sort. So I'm getting the absolute fastest charging possible out of this case. So the fact that it was charging up in a little bit over 2 hours, I was kind of bummed to see that, but it is what it is. So that's the wired charging. It's going to take anywhere from an hour and a half to a little bit over 2 hours, depending on how you catch the case. Now, the same aspects apply to the wireless charging, because this bad boy does have built-in wireless charging on board. Really happy to see that. Now, the manufacturer estimated that charging wirelessly, these bad boys should charge up about 2 hours. Now, for my testing, they were charging up from dead. It was taking about 2.5 hours. Now, I have 2 fast wireless chargers that I use on the regular, okay? So I was kind of hoping for that 2 hour flat mark, but that's from completely dead. Now, as I said, if I caught this when it was low, so 2 LEDs, 1 LED, which I never actually caught. I always caught it at 2. I never can really catch it at 1. It did charge up again in a little bit over 2 hours. Again, 2 hours and 20, 2 hours and 10. So it's not quite the manufacturer's estimates, but it's still pretty good. And especially when you look at the charge times in juxtaposition to the overall battery life, this is top-notch charge times and top-notch battery life in my opinion. So good stuff there. And again, ENACFIRE, you guys did a great job. Alright, so good stuff there. Alright, so that goes over the overall charge times, and that goes over the overall battery life. Now I just want to quickly summarize the positives and negatives on these. Then we're going to talk about the pricing on these, and I'm going to give y'all my overall final thoughts and a recommendation or two. Alright, now starting off with the positives first, and as I always do for this category, I will have a full list of the positives and negatives thrown up in post. So if I missed anything, check out the list you'll see up on the screen at any given time here. Okay? And as always, I'm not perfect and I don't claim to be. So if I miss anything, please feel free to correct me down below in the comments and leave your positives and negatives if you decided to pick these up as well. Alright? Now, let's jump into this. Let's do the positives first. Now, the overall sound quality, volume, and the bass are top-notch in my opinion. These bad boys are extremely comfortable and extremely lightweight. The overall microphone performance on these is top-notch as well. Okay, the overall charge times and the overall battery life on these are top-notch as well. And you can get these for a really good price, about $45 to $50. We're going to expand on that a little bit more later on in the video. Okay, so that pretty much covers all of the positives in my opinion. Alright, now let's talk about some of these negatives real quick. Now, as I alluded to earlier, I'm not a fan of the overall build quality because of the build materials, and I'm not a fan of the design, again, because of the build materials and the overall touch-sensitive buttons, okay? Now, once that is out of the way, so those are the big negatives that I ran across here. The other big negative is that these bad boys are using your LED status balls instead of your LED percentage readout, okay? So those are all the negatives there. The build materials need to be rethought. The design definitely needs to be rethought a little bit because we need physical clicky buttons, not touch sensitive buttons, or at least the touch sensitive buttons need to be rethought. Okay, and there's no percentage LED readout for the case. Other than that, these do have wireless charging, so that's good stuff there as well. And that pretty much summarizes all of the positives and negatives. All right, okay, pretty good. Now, that brings us to the end of this video, and this is where I want to talk about the price and get into my overall final thoughts and a recommendation or two. Now, I was able to pick these bad boys up for about $50, if I remember correctly. let me check my receipt here so I don't give y'all the wrong information, because y'all know we all about keeping it straight 100 around here. Alright, so at checkout, these bad boys ran me, yes, $49.99. So you can call that $50 after tax. And for that price, can I recommend that y'all pick up these earbuds? Well, yes and no, and let me explain. Now, if you're the type of person that wants really good sound quality, really good volume, and really good bass with really good overall microphone performance, and you think you can put up with the pretty skittish touch-sensitive buttons, and you can put up with the slippery design and the build materials, and yes, I can recommend these. But if you're the type of person that has a really tough time with the touch-sensitive buttons, and you're not a fan of the glossy, slippery materials, then you can indeed pass on these. There are other options out there, like the Kkuyis, which offer a better build material and similar design, okay? And you have even more options out there, again, with similar design, but with the clicky capacitive, not clicky capacitive, clicky physical buttons. So, there are other options that improve upon the weaknesses of the ENACFIRE E60s. So if you can't put up with those negatives, I can recommend either one of these options. Again, links will be down below in the video description. So yes, I can recommend these, but if you can't put up with those negatives, there are other options on the market that are going to give you similar, if not better, battery life, and give you similar, if not on par, sound quality, volume, and bass. Okay? But in my opinion, if I'm thinking about these compared to all the other Bluetooth earbuds that I have, these by far have the best sound quality, the best volume, and the best bass, in my opinion. And keep in mind, this whole video is based in and on my opinion, and everybody is entitled to their own opinion. Alright? And that is comparing it up to all the other buds you see on the table. Okay? There was a few days where I literally was switching back and forth between all four of these to try and figure out which one had the best sound quality, which one had the best volume, which one had the best fit, so on and so forth. Okay? So yes, I can recommend these, but there are other options depending on what you're willing to pay and what negatives you're willing to put up with. Alright? So that pretty much does it for this full review. I hope you guys and gals enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys and gals found it helpful. If you guys and gals did enjoy this video and or you found it helpful in any shape, form, or fashion, please help your boy out by giving the video a thumbs up. That really does help me out. You don't know how much. As always, if you'd like to see more content like this, also feel free to hit that subscribe button down below and click off the notification bell icon right next to it so you guys and gals will get notified when I publish new videos. As always, if this video piqued your interest, all the links to everything that I talked about and featured in this video will be linked up down below in the video description, as well as my expanded coverage on these pair of Bluetooth earbuds. So if y'all want to check out the overall fit and the feel and the overall sound quality, please check out my fit and sound demo. Okay? If y'all want to see everything that comes in the box and check out my overall first impressions, please check out my unboxing video, and that should all culminate in this full review that y'all are watching here this evening. Alright? So, I hope y'all enjoyed the coverage. I hope everyone is being safe out there, and I will catch you guys and gals in my next video. Have a good evening, everybody. We are out of here. Peace.